Our white and black-haired boy asks Togame why he hit them, reminding him of his own words that as long as they are strong, they can do whatever they want. Togame confirms this, emphasizing that this place is only for the strong and not for the weak. He acknowledges that he's been eliminating the weak so Choi can face Windbreaker, his greatest obsession, though he thought helping might change something. He admits he was wrong as he dragged the whole group into an unfair fight. Indeed, the Windbreakers gave them a brutal beating. Togame, lost in thought, mentions there's no turning back now, recalling a rainy day when he decided to affirm that mistake, a mistake that has lasted until now and he cannot stop. The audience, craving action and blood, boos them. Togame, feeling melancholic, notes that Chit Tori's drawing has worn out. After much contemplation, he finally responds to Sakura, revealing he wants to go to the mountain. However, this seems foolish to our protagonist, who asks him not to get sentimental, pointing out that if there's no place for the weak, then what is he doing in the gang? He admits that although he's strong, he's also pathetic. To make him understand, he plans to win this fistfight, hoping Togame will stop doing stupid things and become someone great whom he would want to fight. Togame calls him selfish, but admires his guts for saying such things to someone stronger. Sakura replies that he will be selfish while giving him an aerial kick, continuing to try and hit him regardless of how strong Togame is. Even if it costs him his life, he won't turn a blind eye or change who he is. Hearing these words, Togame has flashbacks of Chewie, who used to claim that no one could command him as he was the strongest and the freest, deciding what to do with the weak. If Togame doesn't understand, he should simply leave. Togame, instead of correcting him, realizes he turned a blind eye and took all the burden on himself, asking his friend to just smile at others. Returning to the present, Sakura gives Togame a powerful kick. Despite being hit, Sakura mentions how good he is at making people angry, landing a heavy punch on him. Our protagonist, delighted, remarks that now they're really fighting and insults Togame by calling him Mophead. Togame corrects him, saying his name is Togame, not Mophead. As he says this, he lets his hair down and kicks off his wooden sandals, smiling as he tells Sakura, "Let's fight properly." This makes Sakura very happy, and they start exchanging clean punches and kicks, knee strikes, and headbutts while smiling, which seems strange to the audience. At one point, Togame positions himself over Sakura, but Sakura frees himself with a single kick. They continue exchanging blows until Togame lands a strong kick that sends Sakura flying back. Despite the pain, Sakura, our schizophrenic madman, doesn't stop. He lands 3 consecutive kicks followed by a combo of punches, making Togame spit. However, Togame manages to land 2 punches on Sakura's back, sending him flying out of the ring multiple times. Sakura, left with no choice, uses only kicks. Suwa, surprised, mentions that Sakura is incredible, and even Amila and Igari praise our protagonist. Meanwhile, the less jealous Togame finds him a show-off. Back in the fight of the year, we see Togame fighting seriously while Sakura holds his ground, both giving their all. They enjoy the fight. Sakura feels like he's not fighting a pathetic opponent. Moreover, no other rival called him by his name. Togame notices his opponent is getting used to his movements and improving as the fight goes on. In the sky, they exchange a powerful kick, and both fall due to inertia. Exhausted, lying on the ground, Togame mentions that ideal fights can sometimes be very enjoyable. The guy from the Furyan group agrees, and as Togame realizes he has been fighting for a long time, he asks Sakura if he wants to end this. Sakura confirms, and in an instant, they launch at each other to deliver a tremendous blow. This isn't just any blow, it's the decisive strike that will determine the winner of the fight. Just before the impact, Togame mentally acknowledges his mistake, mentioning that he should have faced Choi when he had the chance. He thanks our protagonist for making him realize this. Confident that he will become even stronger in the future, he wishes him well, knowing he must remain true to himself. As Togame receives the blow, he asks Sakura not to change and thanks him for all he learned in this battle. Once on the ground, Togame finally admits defeat, surprising the audience as he had never lost before and always wore a sinister smile. Our Tsundere protagonist, very angry, scolds Togame for losing on purpose. Just then, Choi steps onto the stage, praising Sakura and recognizing him as very strong. He then asks Yumiya to come up and fight. Despite Togame's plea to stop the battles, Choi doesn't listen and wants to continue fighting Yumiya. When Togame tries to attack Choi to make him realize, Choi kicks him back and coldly tells him to shut up because he has already lost. Sakura, obviously not allowing this, grabs Choi by the shirt, ready to deliver a punch, but is stopped by the great Yumimiya. Yumimiya tells Sakura it's his turn now and congratulates him on talking with Togame. He then tells Togame to let him handle Choi. Togame, unaffected by the kick, recognizes Yumimiya as an interfering person and, leaving the battlefield, asks him not to die. Sakura also lets go of Choi and, while leaving, tells his leader that if he loses, he'll beat him up. Our albino protagonist, however, reassures him, emphasizing that he'll now show why he's the leader of the Windbreaker. Despite this, our protagonist is still in his world, angered by Choi's senseless kick to Togame and confused about the situation since he didn't understand Yumimiya's talk about the language of fists. As he falls off the stage, Nariai catches him, praising the great and moving fight he had. Meanwhile, Yumimiya asks Choi if the previous fight didn't convey anything to him. Choi doesn't understand, and Yumimiya laments. Taking advantage of the stormy day to show why he is recognized as the strongest, Choi tells him to forget about that and to start fighting, because he recognizes that the Windbreaker has many strong people, unlike the Shitorai where everyone is weak and he doesn't have any fun. If he wins here and now, the Windbreaker will be his, making him the strongest and freest person. This will finally end his boredom. Choi, seemingly eager to die, asks Yumimiya to give it his all. As Choi attacks rapidly, Yumimiya evades his attacks. Their movements are so fast and incredible that even Nariai and the audience are astonished. Our patch-eyed boy mentions he has never seen anyone move like that, confirming that Choki is indeed a natural monster. This is no surprise as he's the youngest captain in Shikotan's history. While they exchange kicks, neither hits the other, evading all attacks. Our protagonist watches this fantastic scene, determined to become stronger and confident he'll surpass them soon. Meanwhile, makes weak attacks, waiting for Choi to realize what's happening. After a few minutes, as Choi doesn't realize anything, Yumimiya asks if he's just waiting for the perfect moment to enjoy himself, thinking fighting the strongest is fun. He tells Choi he's wrong and will only suffer this way. These words remind Choi of what Yumimiya first told him, making him angry and attack him, declaring he understands nothing. Finally, the Windbreaker captain stops fooling around and, in a movement faster than Choi, goes into attack mode, launching a punch that, although Choi dodges, still affects him, making him bleed. Yumimiya tells Choi that if he doesn't understand, he'll make sure not to lose to someone like him, pulling out epic rabbits from his neck. Here, the Windbreaker captain shows a bit of his power.